You're looking for a consistent, persistence, and insistence. You're not looking for like a one-time thing. But it also, again, it depends on the child. Like my child was 13. So my indication to me that she was telling me the truth was it took her 45 minutes to get it out of her mouth. It was very difficult for her to say this. So I knew I could not shut her down. I needed to listen to her. And then that's why I asked her, well, what can I do for you? What do you need from me? And the fact that she already had a whole plan on how I could be helping her affirm herself was why I went with her. She led me. And then I didn't know what I was doing. So I reached out to some people I knew on social media. Someone was like, you need to get her gender affirming care. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what gender affirming care was. I looked it up. Okay, it's a process. Great. So I'm like, hey, here's some clothes from my closet, because we were like the same size at the time. Put on what you want. I'll get you clothes as soon as I can. We went with her pronouns and her name. And then I went to her and I said, hey, I'm going to bring you to the pediatrician. We're going to get you something called gender affirming care. Like you'll probably end up going to a therapist, right? This is what we're going to do. And she said, okay. And that's what we did.
How old is she now?
15. And Sherry's situation, like with her son, was very different. He refused girls' clothing as a young child.
Sorry, who's Sherry? Oh, the sis.
The sis.
We can't really see her anymore.
I know it's gotten dark outside. Yeah, he's 16 now, and he started expressing extreme distress when it came to feminine things around like 6 years old. And so, of course, I didn't force those things on him. And I said, okay, what do you want? You don't like your clothes? Let's go shopping. And I just walked into the store and I said, okay, now you go wherever you want. And he just walked over to the boys section and was like, I want this outfit. And like tried to wear it every single day. And I was like, okay, we need more clothes, obviously. And then it was, later on, like, I want to cut off all my hair. Okay. And just like things like that. And what the big sign was, the big thing was, his dad and I were divorced. So when he would go to dad's house and then dad would say, oh, it's family picture time, go put on one of your sister's dress. And this child would have a full emotional meltdown. This being a kid who's never thrown a tantrum, almost never even cried. And he came completely unglued when he was forced into those things. Then it was like, okay, there's something a little bit more, we have to pay attention to this. You can't force this upon a child and cause them this much stress. You need to listen to what they need. And so it's been a very long progression, but he's still him. I mean, he went on puberty blockers. He's been on testosterone for over a year. But he was very consistent and insistent and persistent from the time he was 6 years old.
But it got to the point that when he went to his father's house, he would have extreme anxiety where it was causing stomach aches. It was causing blacking out.
Yeah. He would ask me, is it normal to see black spots all the time and feel dizzy and think like, no, that's not normal. Well, when somebody like Olivia said, if for 2 weeks you went in drag for 2 weeks, how that might give you some dysphoria. My son would go to his dad's house and basically be put into drag, right? So he was forced to dress in this persona and role that was not him. And when he was 8 years old and we were in Walmart and it was Halloween time, and then they had just the t-shirts that are orange and say, this is my Halloween costume. And he said, you should buy that for me so I could wear it to my dad's, because that's how I feel when I'm at my dad's all the time. Every day I'm at his house, I'm in a costume, because that's not me.
I appreciate the stories. What do you think this probably goes back to me trying to understand it, but what do you think causes it?
We don't know.
We don't know for sure.
Just your gender identity develops in your brain. Most people develop congruent with their sex, and some people don't. It's just a natural thing. That's why you can't change it. There's no way to fix it. There's nothing to be fixed. It's to understand that some people are just trans, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, like
Just like
that's
some
why I
people
say
are
when,
gay.
yeah, like honestly, when people ask like what causes this, who fucking cares? It doesn't change it. Like if somebody told me tomorrow that what made me trans, A, was because my mom ate persimmons when she was pregnant with me. You can't unmake me that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter why I'm this way now. I'm this way now. It doesn't matter. So when people say, well, what made you this? I don't fucking care. Like, and I don't have this, excuse me, this need to like classify it so that it can be avoided in the future kind of situation, as if we're some kind of defect. We're not. We live in difficult times. We are born with a different burden to carry, but I'm not defective because I'm trans. You're not defective because you're gay. Mel might be because she's straight, but we're just letting go. No.
I could feel that coming from a mile away.
Yeah, no. But
I get it,
seriously,
Oliver. It's fine.
no, she knows we're kidding. And obviously, I love straight people. I'm friends with a lot of them. I'm sorry.
That's a tokenizing, Olivia.
But
I
yeah.
have so many straight friends.
But and here's the other thing. When it comes to the burden we bear, it's not even like a burden we have to bear. It's a burden that society puts on us. It's the burden to be enough. You have to, when you're trans, you have to perform gender enough that people will take you seriously as your gender. But don't overperform it, because then you're making a mockery of it. But if you don't look feminine enough or masculine enough, then you're doing it wrong. The scene from Barbie where America Ferrera goes on that fool had me in tears, because not only being a woman but a trans woman, I broke down because it's so true. And so
Yeah.
like even my expectations of like no matter what I'm doing, someone is saying I'm doing it wrong. That's the burden I carry. It's not that and shoulders that look like I should be, protecting a fucking quarterback. But that's just me. But that's one of the reasons why we allow children to transition early, and not even encourage them, but encourage parents to allow them to, so that they can avoid at least some of the pain, because it's painful. And it's not painful because my body's fine. It's painful because of the looks and the stares and the expectations, and how I'm just not performing or hitting this peg. Like I'm the square peg in the round hole. Like it's awful. But Mel's daughter gets the joy of not having to deal with at least that fucking aspect of it.
Yeah.
And that's the important part. She's avoiding that part.
After she came out, like, I don't know, a couple days later, like when I really realized like I have a trans kid, I broke down in an absolute emotional mess. And it had nothing to do with her. It has to do with society. She's not broken. Society's broken. She's fine. She deserves to live her true self. She deserves to express herself however way she wants. But it's society. That's the problem. That's why I speak on this app. That's why I get fucking angry when people won't just accept that some people are trans. And that's just how it is. is terrifying, having a child live in a society where people not only will not accept her for a human being or for who she says she is, that they're literally making laws against her existence, against her health care, against her ability, her willingness, that's not the word I'm looking for, against her. She should be able to use the bathroom that aligns with her identity. Everyone should be able to use a fucking bathroom. We all have to pee. We are all humans. So every time she goes to use the women's restroom, I am fucking terrified. Because as you can see, what happened recently to Nex Benedict, just using a bathroom is scary for trans people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's not broken. Trans people don't need to be fixed. We don't need to be preventing them. We don't need to understand where they came from. They're here. Some people are trans, and we just need to accept that.
That's why I said you don't have to understand. That's why I don't care if the transphobic people in the comments understand. They just have to get the hell out of my way so I can live my life. That's all I want. I honestly just want them to fuck all the way off. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. That said earlier as well, I'm not looking for allies. I'm looking for accomplices because they're just not fucking off. If anything, they're ramping up to make my life harder every single day. So, it's my old line. The last pin I pull is when they enter the room. That's it.
I have so many, like, the questions just keep coming for me, and I really appreciate your time and your stories and all the things. I do feel like I learned some stuff tonight.
Good.
And so I appreciate it.
goal.
Genuinely, yeah, I appreciate your time.
That's the goal. Absolutely.
What you said a minute ago, and I'll plan to leave with this, is that, you said trans people aren't broken, society is broken. And I started this whole thing with like society, gender roles, like trying to carve out like what is broken. Because if I'm honest, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, for there to be gender dysphoria or an incongruence with someone's, like, your own relationship with your own body, that to me, like, it does sound broken. And I don't mean that in a way that sound, to be offensive. Even my sexuality, right? Like, if we're talking just biological, right? Like, if I was on a deserted island and I wasn't attracted to a female and it was up to me to keep the human race going, I'm not biologically wired to do that. So like, I understand, like, there's somewhat of an incongruence with my own biology in that way.
Mhm.
And so really what you said, I mean, society, and I kept referring to male and female because it's all I've ever known. And I will say all the definitions, and like, it's a lot, but people are people. And I actually, wow, I feel a lot of clarity, even though it's a big topic and it's hard to tackle. And Olivia, like what you said, you're not looking for allies, you're looking for accomplices. And I want to stand with people. I want to stand with people, period. Like, no matter how you identify or whatever. So anyway, I could really keep chatting. I've super enjoyed this, so I appreciate it, y'all.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
And I'm gonna be real, I don't know how to leave the live.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you gotta kick me off, I guess.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye. Yeah. Those are the type of conversations we are looking to have. And we do have to try different angles to get, to try to get through, right? And yeah, that was the thing. Like, people do feel like, well, maybe you know, maybe it's society creating trans people, right? Because they feel like they have to fit into this box. And if they don't fit into this box, then, you know, because they can't express themselves a certain way or whatever. That sounds like it could be a thing, but that's not the thing, right?
Mhm.
That's why it's not just a social construct. That's why it's not just the way you express yourself. It's deeper than that. It's an understanding of who you are.
Right.
It's, as Adora would say, it's a truth that you know about yourself. You just know it. You can't explain a lot of these things. Like I cannot, like we talk about this all the time, and it's very basic, but your favorite color, like
Yeah.
you can't really explain why you like a color that you like. You just do. You just like it more than the other colors. You may be able to be like, well, you know, maybe it's the brightness of it, or maybe it's because I like it on the, but is that really why? Or do you just like it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's also colors that I reject, right? There's colors that I don't like, I think are ugly. Like, oh,
Right.
I can't think of a color. Yellow, it's not my
I
favorite.
don't like, believe it or not, I don't like how red looks on me, but everyone compliments me in red. But I don't like how it looks on me. It's just I always get the most goddamn compliments in red, so I'm like, I guess I'll wear red.
Yeah. Does look good
Yeah.
on you.
And there's just things like, again, I'm not trans. I can't be trans. I can't understand what it is to be trans, but you can make little connections about yourself, the things that you may not like and can't explain, right? Like I got my teeth done. I used to have a very large gap in my teeth. Lots of people would tell me, oh, it's cute. You should like it. It's fine. Like, oh, yeah. I didn't like it. It didn't matter how many times people told me that I should just like that about myself, or I should just accept that about myself. I did not like it. And it wasn't the little gap that you guys saw. I had a very large gap. It was over almost 2 years of Invisalign. So that's not the point, right? It's not about what everyone else likes. It's about you and how you feel and what makes you feel comfortable as you. People told me all the time, I would love to have a tooth gap. I think it's cute. I didn't care. It made me feel uncomfortable. I would cover my mouth all the time. When we started wearing masks, I fucking loved it. I loved it. I could actually feel comfortable, like smiling and laughing. I would have never, ever, 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 ever have came on this app
Right.
if I didn't have my teeth done. Never.
That's when
Because it was something I was
people are like,
extremely uncomfortable with.
I'm with you, Mel, because of my underbite. People are all the time like, why would you do that surgery? Oh my God, that sounds
Yeah.
awful. You look so good with your jaw. I'm like, fuck you. I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's medically necessary.
I went through a lot of shit to fix this gap that I hated.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was almost 2 years of Invisalign, which was very painful at times. Plus, I had a lip tie that I got like lasered. I had a jaw aligning thing that I've been wearing for a while.
Mhm.
I went through all that shit because I couldn't stand the gap in my teeth. Even if it didn't matter how many times people told me that it looked fine.
Right. It's not a matter of just saying, learn to love it, Mel. And then that's just okay. It's not. And we should normalize that people can feel comfortable in their own skin. The person that you envision in your head, you can go ahead and align with that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And the person in my head's about 20 years younger than the person I look in the mirror. And I'm like, I get it. It's just like, we have a picture of who we are inside of our heads without even looking. You know what I mean? If that doesn't line up, it can be stressful.
And now everyone's going to call them dentures forever, whatever.
You know, people are just being
No, actually, it's probably
smart
going to
asses.
happen. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say. Because I don't want to give the trolls their future trolling. Like, I shouldn't give them any goddamn ideas.
Mm-hmm.
or the message boards.
You
The
can
fucking
message it to
message
me.
board.
Just message me your
Yeah.
prediction.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. That's the only ways I've been able to relate things, like I said. So maybe try to do that with yourself. If there's a name that someone didn't like, or if someone called you that you didn't like, a nickname. I know some people have like I don't know, if their name is Robert and they only like being called Bob, or maybe they only like being called Robert and not Bob, right? Even though people assume, oh, your name's Robert, you should be called Bob, right? Like, whatever it is, there's not usually an explanation. You just don't like it. It just feels uncomfortable. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel like it's you.
So I know a guy that I work with. His name is Daryl. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to say his middle name. He goes by Randy.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
not,
how did you
yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did you get Randy from Daryl? And he was like, I just like Randy. But this is also the man that doesn't know I'm trans. I went on this whole rift about how non-binary people aren't real and doesn't agree with trans people. And I'm sitting there at my desk
His
looking
name
at
is
him going,
Randy.
I'm like,
Wow.
Yep.
wow.
You're all okay. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, there's so many people though that do that, like that'll use a middle name or that will shorten a name or you only use the longer version of their name or whatever. Like Mel is not my name. I actually started
But
using it on here. So I wouldn't use my full name, and then I was like, well, I actually have no problem with anyone calling me Mel. So like now I'm just so used to people calling me Mel that when somebody says my full name, I'm like, oh. Like at the dentist today, multiple times. I'm like, wait, that's me.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But still, if
No,
somebody
no.
called you that childhood name, you still would be like, ew, don't do that.
Absolutely. My mom
Right.
still does sometimes, and I'm like,
Oh gosh.
yes.
You're like, Mom, hello.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
What
That's funny.
So my youngest goes by my old nickname, which I fucking hated. It was my nickname growing up, and then my mom started calling him my old nickname because he's a junior. So she called him my nickname Junior, and he goes by it, and I'm like, but that's his nickname. That's the nickname he
And,
won,
and he's totally fine with it.
and he's
Yeah.
totally fine with it. But
Yep.
meanwhile, I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll call you that. Like when he was little, she started calling him that, and he was like, I want to be called this because that's what Daddy was called. I was like, Daddy fucking hated that nickname. But I was like,
Yeah.
okay, bud.
I like everyone guessing my name too. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shut up.
It's Melothy. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
It's melancholy.
It's actually just Melon.
Melon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they used to call me Cantaloupe, and I didn't like that. So Just kidding.
Oh, I love it.
It is. It's Melissa. That's my name. I don't care. But... Anyway, yeah, I had a lot more requests. That was going to be our last guest. I did not expect it to last that long at all whatsoever, but
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it
you
was
need to
worth
go
it.
eat something.
I'm
Oh,
glad
I'm
that
starving.
I know. I don't know what I can chew yet. That's kind of my problem. But that's the whole, and that's why I changed the background. I know for some of you it's cut off. I don't know why. It's fine on mine, but I do feel like we did get through to the last guest. I hope that if for some reason he ever has a trans child in his life, he will second guess the line of questioning.
Yep.
I know a lot of people feel like if you affirm your child, that's it. Like you're locked in and there's nothing you can do to like stop it. Now they're going to have surgery. It's not like that at all. Not even a little bit. You just literally allow your child to lead you. And what's really interesting to me again, that is if you can understand that people can be gay, you know, and especially if you are part of the community yourself, but you still can't like affirm trans people, like just try to just look like what is causing you to not accept that.
Yep.
because people looked at you the same way or still look at you the same way. Like, how
So
can you be a man that likes men? I don't understand.
so
Mhm.
before you go, Mel, I've never heard the "let your children lead you" thing, but it popped into my head. If has anyone here ever ridden horses?
I have. It's just been a
No,
million
only
years.
like at like a thing where you go and like
So if you've ever
ride
ridden like
horses.
equestrian or ridden dirt bikes, for that matter too, when you're riding a horse and you're crossing a stream, especially or riding at night, the horse you don't push the horse in any direction. You let the horse find its steps to find its stable footing, and you're just along for the ride. And it just kind of sounds similar, where it's like you
Yeah.
don't try to force it, because if you do, you're taking a bath.
Yeah.
Like that's just like, and the horse is going to get hurt and things like that. It's not even like blind faith, because you're still like in the driver's seat as a parent, but
Yeah.
you're letting,
Right.
You still have a
you're letting
destination
the
that you're trying to
child,
get to. You know, you still want to get your kid
yeah,
to adulthood. You want them to be a good person. Like, there's still
but
things.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, let them find their footing. That's, I just, if there's anyone that's ever ridden horses, they'll
Yeah.
know that they were taught that. Let the horse find its own footing, and just
Yeah.
kind of,
I like that. And you still have yeah, you still have the destination.
Right.
Because that's the thing. People think that's what people are like, oh, let kids be kids. Like, I'm not, no, they're not a kid. Like, my kid is still a kid. They still have to do kid things. I still have to, like,
Yes.
you know, did you brush your teeth?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, can you empty the dishwasher? You know, they still do kid stuff, like vacuum your room, whatever. Doesn't make them not a kid. They still go to school. They
did you
still
do your
do
homework?
things.
Yeah.
Did you
So
do
We
your
don't have
homework?
homework here, luckily,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah,
was
I know,
big.
but I love that. Did you do your homework? Yes. Let me see it. No.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, I know. Uh-huh. They're definitely still kids. They can still do
Yep.
things that are kind of, can I get away with this? Right? I want candy for dinner. Like, definitely still kids. That doesn't change at all. Still got to bring them to the dentist. Still got to, you know, do all the kids stuff. But I think I think what people need to understand too is that, fuck, I read a stupid comment that said denture and I forgot what I was gonna say. Shit. God damn it. It was something about, I don't know, about being like little kids, but I lost it. Anyway, I could talk about this forever.
I know.
This
Yeah.
topic is very important and it is one that I try to talk about a lot, but as people tried to say, somebody said I was fake crying and I blocked them because fuck you. Because it is a very emotional topic and it's something that sometimes I don't feel like talking about. So I would rather put on the cisgender topic and argue with people about things and try, again, arguing is not the goal, but try to get people to understand cisgender so I don't have to talk about kids because again, it's really, really emotional sometimes. That conversation went there and we let it. And sometimes that happens and that's fine. But you know, I have to, when I go to do this, I have to pick what I want to talk about. And again, with the unaliving of Next Benedict, it's been a really hard conversation lately to have. It's not something that I really want to talk about. I do have 2 kids. One is binary trans. The other one is non-binary. So technically they are both under the trans umbrella. I didn't really think too much into the safety of my non-binary kid until that happened. That is, it's just another layer of fucking
Mine
fear.
called
I
me.
know.
Mine called me 2 nights ago in tears because of it.
Yeah.
Because they're also 16.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, and they just started a new school this week, and they were like, what do I do? And I was like, you have the added bonus of being AMAB and being taught how to fight by me. So
Yeah.
you'll,
Right.
but keep your head down and don't take We have a family saying, take no shit, deal no harm.
I like it. Yeah.
That's kind of how I approach, and it's spray painted on the side of the bridge that we fish off of, but we just kind of live by that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this off. Yeah, because that was kind of a thing I talked about recently too, is with you know, my youngest child at school, their counselor, the social worker there, has been trying to work on them, like, because they have been afraid to tell people that they prefer they them pronouns. They only have done it with certain people. So that's been something the counselor's been working with them with, trying to get them to feel more comfortable telling people who they are.
Right.
And now with this whole new thing, it's scary. I mean, my kid's only 10.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's scary. And people don't realize.
Society is broken, not trans people.
The harmful things that people say when they're whispering and snickering and talking shit. Sometimes it grows into things like this, and that's what happens. So, yeah, excusing transphobic language and behavior is never okay. It's just not.
Mm-hmm. And when you guys think that, I don't know how many ops are still in here, maybe a few. When you guys think that I am the mean one and that I am the bully, that or my panel is we're just the awful people, look at who we're talking to. That's the part of broken society.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Shit, my battery's going to kaput right now. I'll give that
My
1%.
emotions come from a sincere place.
Fight a wall of shit every day.
Yeah.
Fight a wall of shit every day and see if you get covered in some as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one too. So, you know, there are other people to watch, probably more palatable, that may, if you want to learn something from them. There's plenty of options on this app of people that you can listen to. So you can go do that if you'd like. But my tone is not going to change. I'm going to go get food. Thanks for hanging out, Olivia, Sherry. I don't think Boom's still here, but thank you, Boom, for chilling. And I will see you guys later. I think, is Adora live still? Yes. Yeah. Go raid Adora. Go say hey. Mel raid. See you later. Thanks, Olivia.
Bye, Mel. Enjoy your food.
Oh, thank you. I'll see what I can chew. That's avoiding it, but I'm hungry.
Go with pudding. It's never a bad time for pudding.
I have yogurt. That's not as good.
There you
but
go.
I do have
Yogurt and like the white part of the bread with butter.
Oh,
like
that's
no
a good
crust.
idea. All right, I like it. All right, thank you guys. See you later.